Hello and welcome to the Other 14 FC podcast. I'm Alex, Crystal Palace fan.
And I'm Tom, a West Ham fan.
And this is your podcast for everything not top six. Tired of your team being last on match of the day and not getting the flowers they deserve? Well, that's about to change. Tom, what do we have for the listeners this week?
The good, the bad and the ugly. We might be done in under an hour today. We've got Woltemessi and Kevin's debuts, Fabio Carvalho redemption, Scott and Semenyo on the south coast. And elsewhere, I went out and cursed two other 14 teams to 3-0 defeats, and Alex got his wish for some 0-0s. How you been, mate?
I'm good. I want to know what you're going to pick out as good from this weekend, because there wasn't a fucking lot of it. I've got at the top of my notes, boring weekend. And in all honesty, I knew it'd be a boring one for Palace, but I didn't think the rest of the league would join in with it.
Yeah, it was a pretty dull weekend all round. I think there's a couple of bright spots. I think we'll go through them at the top of the show. But yeah, no, it was a bit of a. I mean, as I say, I was out for two of them. Went to the Arsenal Forest one, and then trudged over to East London for the West Ham disaster class against Tottenham. So yeah,
you love football, don't you? Spend all weekend doing it, then spend your Monday talking about it. You sad bastard.
It's like, and I'm also reading a book like Building the Yellow Wall about Dortmund. It's just like everything I say, like, yeah, I'm just obsessed with football.
Don't forget Football Manager in between it. I don't know how your girlfriend even sees you at this.
I haven't had time to do Football Manager just because of all of the other football.
Football. It's like that Peep Show, not Peep
Yeah,
Show.
it's football.
Watch it now.
It's gonna move.
Oh Christ! Yeah, how's your week been anyway? Apart from all the football, all good.
Yeah, not bad. Busy with work, just watching the NFL. Other than that, but yeah, what about you?
No, nothing for me. Just busy. Smoked some pork at the weekend. That's how exciting it got. And then I started this week by just busyness, and then having the dread of having to talk to you later on in the day. And here we are now.
I know you've got that Monday fear having to talk to me. Smoking your pork sounds like a bit of a euphemism, I'll just say. Sounds a bit dirty coming from you, but you know.
Oh, smoking that jerk pork big time. Let's move into the reviews before we get back. Let's take a break and get into it.
Let's do it.
Okay, and we're back. So Tom, where do you want to start with our? I'm just going to call out the boring weekend.
the good. There's not that many places to start with the good part of the weekend, so I think let's go down to the South Coast, or as you didn't dub it, the South Coast Derby, like the quieter South Coast Derby that happened this weekend between Bournemouth and Brighton. Yeah,
so was it 2-1 Bournemouth? I think a few Palace fans were happy to see that scoreline at the end of our game to give us something to be interested in. But yeah, it did look like a pretty okay game down there. I don't think much really happened in the first half from what I saw.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it was a pretty even game in all. Like, I think, again, Brighton, I'm just like a bit. I'm perplexed as to how they've not been getting results, or like they've not come out of things like they've come out with some poor results so far this season, because they're making so many chances. Like Yankuba Minter in this game especially, but throughout the season has been a real bright spark. Like in this one, he got an assist, but he was just a real threat for Brighton. Like he's had the most touches in the opposition box this season out of the Premier League players, and it's like you've got they've got quality throughout the pitch. Okay, like Hinshelwood goes off like after 16 seconds, he gets injured, so that kind of like puts a spanner in your game plan.
The game off the bat, really, doesn't it? It's hard to then recover from it, I guess. But I agree with you. It feels like there's something. For me, it feels like there's something missing from Brighton. It feels like all that time under Potter, where they're playing nice football, but you're not getting a result. Yes, their expected goal difference was really high under Potter as well for that, and it's like, well, it's all good having that, but if you're not converting it, what's the point?
Yeah, and then they had that time under De Zerbi where they were converting more, but they were a bit volatile, like either end sort of thing. Like they were involved in so many high-scoring games, and with Herzler, they've kind of got a little bit more sort of control. Like I don't think they blow as many teams away as under De Zerbi, but they're probably just making too many mistakes at the back, and I know you would have been happy to see that it was Lewis Dunk.
Hey, don't jump into my notes just yet. I'm very ready to talk about that goal when we get to it. But should we start with? I said there would not much happen in the first half. There was obviously the Alex Scott stunner, Shepard.
Yeah,
I think it was the first of the thundercunts, as I like to call them, of the weekend. That we'll be talking about. So yeah, I mean, there's that goal goes in. Then really, is there anything else you want to pick out from the first half? That wasn't
no, I
much.
mean it was some finish from Scott. Like it was the easiest assist Semenyo is going to have because he just passed it to, just rolled it to him on the edge of the box, and then Scott did all of the hard work and made it look really nice. And Alex Scott is a player who I've been sort of waiting and watch like with a keen eye on to see how he'll progress because I think he's stuttered with like injuries and stuff since he made the step up from Bristol City, I believe he was in the Championship with, and he was someone that got quite heavily linked with like West Ham, like probably a lot of the other 14 teams.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah,
went to Rust. I remember he went to. Did he go straight to Bournemouth? And I was
yeah, he
probably
went
right by
straight.
that.
I'm pretty sure he went straight to Bournemouth, and like, yeah, he's been in and out of the team, I'd say. But I think Iraola really rates him, and I think he's got all the talent to become a mainstay in the Premier League and one of those players who can really start to like progress and then maybe and light it up. And the finish just showed the level of his talent in this game. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, he got things off to a good start for
Yeah, his
Bournemouth.
first. I think it's his first goal at the Vitality as well. So yeah, good to get that
Yeah,
under
since
your belt.
like yeah, it was just like first goal since like no, New Year's Eve 2023 or something.
It's hard
Like
to
I
think.
think that just speaks to how in and out of the team he's been.
Yeah, but it always feels like his name's just synonymous with Bournemouth now. I don't know if you feel the same way with that. Like, for some reason, it's just like, yeah, I think of Bournemouth when I hear his name. But cool. And then yeah, we move on to the second goal. Say it's a nice header at the back post from Matoma. Would you say maybe Bournemouth a little bit switched off coming out for the second half?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you don't want to concede that soon after half time sort of thing. But I think like Minter's just been like, as I say, like was a real threat. He was causing the Bournemouth defenders chaos like throughout the game, and I think eventually it just paid off. And it was probably one of those that like Minter was on such good form in this one that I think they left the space open at the back post for Matoma to sneak in and get his head on it. And yeah, Mitoma's another one that I was sort of maybe expecting a little bit more from at the start of the season. Hasn't quite like hit the ground running as I was expecting, but you know, still a very very quality player.
Yeah, and he's just opening his tally for the season now, really, of that first one, hasn't he? Like, you just go and expect him to get a handful for Brighton. But yeah, let's move on to where I think we should spend the most detail on this match and analyse it, like, to pieces. Nah, that'd be too mean. My only note really is it still kind of blows my mind, Brighton starting Lewis Dunk week in, week out. I get that he's their talisman and everything, like, went down to the women's rugby at the Amex, and it's like he's plastered all over the fucking walls there, and like it's just a bit. I don't think
You
he's.
got you got to think that's not long for like that. That's going to end soon because this is at least the second like mistake he's made in this early season already. Like, and this one was just pretty. This one was a real shot in the foot because like your team are on like the halfway line and you've just passed it directly to an attacker, made like the counter attack, and then you know it's a pretty clear penalty from like Van Hecker, just like sort of leaves a dangling leg in there, and it's like the attacker's gonna go over every time he sees that leg. Like it's just not one of those that you can get away with at all.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then our boy Semenyo steps up and slots the penalty away. I don't think it was the best penalty, if I'm being honest, but at least he smashed it. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this was a good Semenyo game either, and he comes out with it with a goal and assist.
yeah,
Like statistically, you'd say like it looks like he was one of the best players on the pitch. But I mean, as I said, the assist was easy, and the goal was a penalty. Like I think that's a good like sign to have. Like he's getting involved when he's not having one of his better games, because quite often Semenyo, as we've said, sort of thing, like he can maybe go a little bit go a little missing, or his chances just aren't hitting as they should do when he has those bad games. But yeah, I mean, to be able to get away with a goal and assist after not having one of his better games is pretty good going for Semenyo.
Yeah, I think he's had a great start to the season, really, if you add it all up. Like, he does blow home cold, maybe. I think we said early on, like, maybe this is the year for him. Anything else you want to touch on Brighton? Because there's a couple of bits I want to touch on about Bournemouth before we move on to our next game. But I don't want to leave, like, Brighton fans completely high and dry of it. Like, I've got a note. Are Brighton just not as good as they were last season, do you think? Or is it just... It can't really be teething. What's just not clicking, do you think? Or is that a bit too hard to say right now?
I mean, I think they are making some silly mistakes at the back, like things that you would probably want to be cleaned up. I think, like, with the sort of the defensive reinforcements they brought in, as I say, I would be surprised that if Dunk keeps his place in the team, if he keeps making mistakes when they've got like Basagli and people to come in. Like, they made good signings in the summer, and maybe it's just a case of giving them a few more weeks, like to bed in, understand the tactics and everything before they get the starting role. But, you know, I wouldn't be trusting, as much as Dunk has been a great servant to Brighton. Like, every player has sort of like their end of their tenure coming, and I think it's clear that that's happening to Dunk right now. And yeah, and in attack, I think, you know, you're going to have those games where Welbeck and like Ritter aren't hitting the back of the net, sort of thing. Like it's just going to happen. I think, as I say, I think Brighton could have got away with a draw in this game. I think Bournemouth kind of got away with a win here. I don't think they were on top form either. Like, they didn't look as good as the team that beat Tottenham away last time out. So I think this is a great result for Bournemouth. But again, Brighton probably looking back at a few results this season so far, and thinking probably could have got a win, probably could have got a draw in this game or that game. So yeah, I don't think there's anything to panic about for Brighton yet. It's just one of those frustrating starts to the season, I think.
Yeah, I think they got, Spurs and Chelsea up next in the league as well. So you make that face.
They do better in those. They do better in those games, innit?
Yeah, that's what I mean. You if the listeners, Tom made the face like all worried, and it's like it just clicks in your head, doesn't it? It's like they're the games they fucking win somehow as well. So yeah, cool. To move on to Bournemouth then, to finish off this match. Firstly, I know you don't watch Match of the Day, do you, at all? So you might have missed out on some analysis they did, which was actually quite good for one. So they basically picked up that Bournemouth were playing as in they wanted the press to come on, but as soon as Brighton put on the press, they were just launching the ball over into the space, so they were like going over it each time. And yeah, that was actually really good to pick out, and it's something I feel like a lot of clubs don't do because they're so like better to, we need a break through the press, we need a break through the press. And it's just like, yeah, I thought that was a really good thing to pick out, and something I'd love to see Palace try to do, rather than try and break the press, get in trouble, kick it out, and you're like, you fucked it there. Are you seeing that with Potter at the moment, trying to like bring the press on and just not being able to deal with it at West Ham?
Oof, I mean, there's a lot of issues with West Ham. But
let's leave those issues then for the West Ham game.
Yeah, I mean, what I would just say to that is I really, like I've said multiple times, like I really rate Iraola and his tactical acumen, and like I think he's one of those managers that, similar to sort of like a Thomas Frank, where he's like pragmatic and like he'll adjust his game to, or he'll adjust his tactics to a game sort of thing. Like, he's not like one of the, like a Potter or someone who's so like, oh no, we have to play this style whether it like fucks us up or not, like whether it like shoots us in the foot. Iraola's much more like, he knows how he wants to play, but he's also adaptable to different game states, and like whether they're sort of under the cosh a little, or like how to best beat the opposition ahead of them. And it's no surprise that Iraola's found out that Brighton obviously want to sort of have a lot of the ball. They pass around with their defenders a lot, and you know, Iraola found a way to get away with. As I say, I think Bournemouth kind of got away with this one, but you know, that speaks to the quality of their team as well, that they're able to grind out a win as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, lastly, Bournemouth's best start after 4 games, 4th in the table. Only loss was at Anfield in the opening day of the season, with those like mad last-minute winners for Liverpool. So yeah, I must be fucking buzzing to be a Bournemouth fan at the moment.
Yeah, as I said in the sort of like predictions and stuff, I didn't think there'd be that much of a fall off. I think I didn't anticipate it starting so well for Bournemouth, but you know, there was enough consistency with the attack and with the midfield that I thought they'd be able to sort of translate that over from last season. And yeah, the defensive reinforcements that Bournemouth have had have settled in pretty well, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. Okay, where do you want to move on to next then?
I think let's go to St James's Park and Woltemessi's debut.
Yeah, you're right about him, weren't you, last week? You saying you're hoping he'd be the one this season. Oh, was it last week? Was the transfer special? You saying he's going to be up there? He
Yeah.
he looked pretty good. I've put something here which you're probably going to disagree with, and a lot of listeners might think I'm being stupid. But I was getting mad Andy Carroll vibes from him in that game, like harsh on him. But I'm going for like look, height, and just like there was something about bagging the Newcastle shirt because I'm guessing because he's so tall, he has to have like an extra large shirt, so it has to be baggy. Do you know what I mean? So I was just getting those vibes.
Yeah, I mean, not as a player, but like, yes, I can. The vibes were similar as like that. I think when you see a guy that tall and that skinny, sort of like running up top, like trying to sort of chase people down as Andy Carroll used to, and obviously with the Newcastle link, like I think I can see what you were imagining.
Technically, obviously not, but like what he was doing in the game, I was just there like I don't know why I'm feeling this, but I was feeling it. It wasn't like a Peter Crouch where it's like he's like tall and that's what he's got. It was like he's bustling about a bit more. He's fucking causing trouble. And yeah, if Newcastle are going to score a lot of goals this season by just fucking putting ball into the box, like it's that simple for him at that point. But he's also looked like he could fucking do the business with his feet.
Yeah, it's not something I didn't pinpoint his heading ability last week, but it's almost like a given with a player
Yeah.
that tall that like you're like, well, he's probably going to be good in the air. I mean, it's not always the case, but I think this was a really a dream debut for Woltemada. Like, obviously, he gets the headed goal. I think he just worked really hard. There was that one bit where the ball went through the 6-yard box from a cross, and it was sort of petering out to like a corner or a throw in, and he was chasing after it with the Wolves defender and made it like it went. The ball went out of play, but you just got the reaction from the Toon army. It was just like, yeah, that is exactly what we want to see. Like they immediately forgot about Alexander Isak after this game and was like, yes, Woltemada, you have replaced him in our hearts.
I was going to say, is it almost better for him? Because I feel like even if he didn't score, as long as he put a shift in, those Newcastle fans, like write in and say if we're wrong on this, but I feel like those Newcastle fans are going to want to love him no matter what. So as long as he's putting that shift in, he was always going to get a good reception for him. So the fact he put a shift in and got a goal on his debut, it almost is like better the way like Isaac left for him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, I'm really glad that he did get the goal because like with a young striker, big price tag, it's like one of those things that if he doesn't score like in his early sort of first few weeks, then it's like, oh, like it kind of becomes a monkey on his back kind of situation. But so I'm glad he got the goal as well. But I do agree, like I think the Newcastle fans would have loved him just from the base, like the base performance that he did out, that was putting out there. And is it just me, or does he have the smallest socks, or is it just because he's massive?
This is what I mean. There's something very prime Barclays, peak Barclays, sorry, about it, and I was feeling the whole time watching him. It's like, I don't know if it was like almost like blonde permy hair as well. It was just something about him. I was like, you don't look like the generic like upfront striker we get in the Prem at the moment. He looks like he's having a lot of fun playing as well. So I kind of wish I'd seen him more in the Bundesliga so I could know if that's just me seeing what he's actually like or me just getting a concept of it at the moment. But yeah, like if he was my striker up front, I'd be pretty damn excited. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm happy for Woltemada in his debut, and I mean, further out, zooming out a bit further than Woltemada in this game, like we saw Jacob Murphy come in for Anthony Elanga. I think he was a little bit rusty and sort of like hit a few shots and crosses where I think last season with how he was playing, he probably buried one of those shots or was sort of getting his crosses a bit better. But I think he probably performed. Even saying that, I think he performed better than Alanga has done early this season. So there's a bit of a competition there on the right side. Like Alanga's obviously the new expensive signing, come in, like not hit the ground running. So maybe Jacob Murphy can sort of play his way into the team and that. But at least it gives Newcastle options on that right side, which they just haven't had in recent years.
I think that's what I was going to say. It's like an option, isn't it? You got to use them differently for different games. So yeah, I think it's strong for them there. Yeah, Tonali hitting the post in the game as well, which would have been another thunder cunt of a goal for the weekend. Yeah, I guess my
Yeah, I
question.
mean, on that, I don't know how this one ended 1-0.
Yeah.
Like there could have been this could have ended 3-4, 4-3. Like there were Newcastle had plenty of chances, and Wolves had loads of chances as well.
Well, yeah, that was going to be my question. Like, how? What I'm seeing is like, Wolves have had. I'm not gonna lie, they've had a hardish run of fixtures to start the season, but they've kept themselves in games throughout it. Like it feels like. So
That's the thing. That's the
it's
thing. Like they just can't get a result. Like they continue to create chances. Like in this one, especially early, like Rodrigo Gomez, Huang Hee Chan. Like they had chances to get on the score sheet, and they're just like they can't. They couldn't get a because like all they needed in this one was a goal. And especially if they'd have got the first goal, who knows? They might have gone on to win the game. Like they might have
that's
been able to
it,
sort of settle
isn't
in.
it?
But like
Like
they've been,
it's
as you say, they've been in every game, and they just can't seem to get a result.
it's hard. Like if you're Victor Pereira, do you think he's feeling any pressure? Because I'm like, you can't get rid of. I'm not condoning or want to talk about getting rid of a manager, but what the media are going to do, it's no points on the board after 4 games. It's going to be like, oh, most likely manager gets sacked, blah blah blah. But what more can they really be doing in games at the moment? Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I haven't done a deep dive in how Wolves fans are feeling about Pereira at this point. I think he's got a fair bit of like
Clout.
money in the bank, like
Yeah.
clout in the bank with them after that amazing run last season and getting them out of trouble. So I don't. I would. I think it would be harsh for them to start thinking about that. Whereas, like, there's another team who I don't think that would be harsh to think about, which we'll get on to. But like, I mean, 0 points after 4 games. It's like one of those. It's like, all right, is someone going to make a rash decision? Like, is it actually? Because there was like at the end of like last season, they did
There was
sort
a
of
drop
peter
off, wasn't
out.
there? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, is this still going on? Like, I think they've, as I say, I think they've been in enough games. They've probably could have like got a couple of results, and things might look a little bit different.
Well, this is the
But
thing. Like,
how far does this go?
this is the thing. Like, as a Paris fan, I've been in this situation before, like much worse situations than this. But you kind of know by sense by how the team's playing if you're fucked or not. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, well, if the manager's fucked, let's put it that way. Frank de Boer fucked. The team didn't know what they were doing. Roy having a bad start to the season, you could tell the team knew what they were doing. Were maybe getting unlucky or making stupid mistakes. What is going to happen for Pereira now is their next 5 games, which are huge. It's Leeds at home, Spurs away, that one don't why, Brighton at home, Sunderland away, and Burnley at home. So they're playing the 3 of the newly promoted teams, which most seasons you'd say that those should be free bankers, but as we'll probably move on to in later games, the newly promoted teams aren't here to make up fucking numbers anymore. They're going to be hard games. So if he doesn't come out of those 5 games with something, Wolves fans are going to be starting to worry, I guess. I don't think there's panic stations yet, but after that, you've got to kind of be thinking where the point's going to come from.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I think like we could be looking at this at the end of that spell, and they've turned things around because they weren't out. They were in all of these games except for maybe the City one on the opening day, sort of thing. They're close to getting results. They were probably hard done by in this one at points. So, we could be looking at that like. They would be hoping that they could get a good amount of points out of that, or at least they just need to get, once they get the first win, I think we might end up seeing Wolves maybe go on another little run again. Like they just need that break kind of at this point, and I think they were unlucky not to get it this week.
Yeah, I mean, they have got at least the one win this season against one other terrible side, if it wasn't in the league at least. But yeah, cool.
Yeah, if that was any time soon, it would have been El Sacco, but
Nice, cool. Okay, anything else you want to touch on that? I think we can
no.
probably move on to the next one. Yeah. So where are we going? We go in to the West London derby, Brentford 2, Chelsea 2.
Yeah, I think I've got maybe an apology to make to Fabio Carvalho, but
I was thinking that as soon as I saw he'd scored in that last minute, I was like, can't
hey,
wait to rip into Tom for this one.
I'll hold my hand up. He got a very, very important goal in this one, like what, a 95th minute or something, like rescued equaliser to rescue a point for Brentford. If this can give him some confidence and he can go on to like showcase his talent, then great. I'm very happy to be wrong about Carvalho, but he was left wide open. I think it was Garnacho was supposed to be
Yeah,
tracking him, and it's
left
just
him
like,
on the long throw in, didn't he? It's just
yeah, like
that's just seeing it
it's
more like back post, like those long. What was it? I guess we might as well touch on it now. Fucking the buzz term this week, or like last week with the England stuff, is like long throw season. All the long throws back, and I was like, "Fuck me, are we really gonna have this as a buzzword for the fucking week when everyone's been doing long throws for fucking ages in the Prem?" Like,
well, we spotlighted it months ago at the end of the season. There was that weekend where there were two like goals that came from long throw-ins. Like it's been coming. This has like been a tactic that's going to be around for at least the next season or two, while like people think it's sort of or it's in vogue again. So Brentford capitalised on it. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
How before you go, how many goals is Fabio gonna have to score for you to put out a public apology on the pod to him?
oh, if he
Four,
can get
5 goals?
6 goals, if he can get 6 goals this season,
Okay.
I'll change. I won't say a bad word about him.
No, I want public apology to him, and then when Chris Wood beats the 5 goal mark or whatever you said, then I want public apology to Chris Wood as well.
He's not doing that. I saw Chris Wood on Saturday. He ain't doing that. I feel a lot more comfortable now.
Oh,
Back to Brentford. I mean, this one, absolute props to Brentford in this game because they obviously weren't going to have a lot of the ball. Like Chelsea are a good team with the ball, but they just never gave up in
no.
this. Like they always believed, like they were always in this game. I think they really reduced Chelsea to like quite low quality chances, and the 2 goals that they did score from Palmer and Caicedo were actually just very nice goals. Like you just like obviously Caicedo's is another thunder
Fun cunt.
bastard, and it's just like, all right, well you hold your hand up to that, and the Palmer one's really nice, hard, like impossible to save sort of thing.
Yeah, there
But
was
like,
nearly a Olympiaco by fucking Enzo as well in that game. So if Chelsea get
yeah,
those 3 goals, you just sit there as Brentford and be like, "What the fuck can we do?" Like you just got to give it that. But yeah, like you say, it was a no die attitude from Brentford to just fucking stay in the game. I guess you want that from when you're in a derby. So you got to hope it's not just because it was a derby that they got up for it like that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, but I think they deserve the point from the game, from like how the game plan played out. Like they obviously targeted playing on the break. I think Kevin Schade had probably his best game of the season
Yeah,
so far. Like
fucking
you know,
loves to cut in and shoot, doesn't he? That little
yeah,
Robin cut in and fucking hit it. He scored goals against us like fucking now. I swear every time I see him score, it's that type of goal. It's like run and run, cut in, and it's like in the back of the net. He's
yeah. He's like
very good
last
at
on
that.
the last man, runs in behind the defense, and then cuts in on his right and slots it past. But like another player I want to mention is Henderson in this one. Like obviously he's 35 now, so he's not going to be running covering every blade of grass as he once did, but he's got the runners around him, like
Yeah,
people like Yarmoliuk and like the forwards like Utara, Sharda and Thiago, like that he can just sort of play that kind of quarterback style where he's like sitting in the like the number 6 defensive midfield position and just letting just hitting the passes at the right time and unleashing these players, like similar to how we were sort of saying Granit Xhaka's playing, but Henderson's a little bit less full on.
mate, that's it. Well, I'm guessing everyone listening has probably seen the memes going out about Unk running it back where he's like hit the 30, 40 yard pass for the assist. And it's just,
Hmm.
yeah, it's like, I said it, didn't I? I said midfield of him and Damsgaard, even though they did it without Damsgaard this game, I was just like, they're going to be a fucking pain in the arse to so many teams. And I can already see them bossing the game against us at fucking the G-Tech and at fucking Sellers this year. So yeah, and I mean, any other bits you want to pick out from the game at all? I think we've covered quite a lot there, actually.
No, yeah, just props to Brentford on getting a point.
Yeah, nice, cool. Okay, now we're going to be moving into the dross. let's
Yeah.
not let's not even lie about that. Fulham leads 1-0 Fulham. Let's just talk about it. The fucking one of the best, craziest own goals I've ever fucking seen.
It was ridiculous. Like
How
he
do you
was
score an
so
own
far
goal
away from goal.
against your keeper to do that with a header? I understand how it happened because I can't remember who it is in front of Goodmanson. Like he sees it late, but then to see it late and guide it past the keeper like that's like fucking Benteke or fucking Peter Crouch levels of heading. Do you know what I mean?
And that's the thing, like where the attackers aren't doing that. they're not scoring that. It's like, I think it's obviously because it's the defender and he's just absolutely wrong-footed his keeper, but it whizzes off his head as well, and like it's like past Darlow before he could even like think about going for it. So it
Fucking
was
crazy.
very weird. And I mean, it kind of was like the only thing that was going to break this deadlock, like
What
something
about Big Kev?
stupid.
What about Big?
Well, Kevin, this game was an absolute snooze fest, like until Kevin came on, and then it was just like, wow, this
Yeah.
guy is like the only bit of excitement in this whole game was just Kevin, just coming on, standing people up, taking them on, like doing tricks. I mean, Fulham have got a real one there. Like, I can't say I knew much about Kevin like beforehand. Obviously, he's followed the old Brazilian path to Shakhtar Donetsk, and now he's in West London. And I know Marco Silva was desperate to get Kevin all summer. It was Fulham are in for this guy Kevin. Fulham are trying to work on a deal, and they just couldn't get it over the line right until the last sort of couple of days. I think it actually went through. But like you just sort of instantly see why he wanted him so much and how quality he is. Like I think Fulham like were crying out for someone in that left wing position to give them something different. Like we said it a couple months ago now when we were previewing the teams. Fulham needed someone to raise their ceiling.
Someone
And
to
I
do so. Yeah, that's exactly what you said, wasn't it? Raise the ceiling. They needed that like fucking X factor in their team because yes, they had a good squad of like base players, and you need that one player to take them up. And yeah, Big Kev looks like he might be the one. A record signing for him at 35 mil, I think. And yeah, you see him come on, and he's just going past people. He puts Curler into the top right corner to give this game a goal it probably didn't deserve. But if that goes in, like you're talking about differently, yeah, I think you're completely right with everything you said there about him.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see more of Kevin, and I'm sure every Fulham fan is very excited. But yeah, I mean, as I say, this one was a snooze fest. Leeds front, I'm a little concerned about chance creation for them. Like there wasn't really much going on in an attacking sense for Leeds. Like couple of half chances, a little bit of like chaos in the box kind of thing, but like there wasn't really like patterns of play that were like, oh, okay, Leeds are pushing Fulham or making like Fulham are on the back foot. Like Leeds came out of the half a little bit better, little bit the better team, but then Kevin came on and turned the game around, and it was just all Fulham towards the end. So, I think Leeds have had a little bit of a topsy-turvy start to the season so far. Like I think they've probably maybe been the least impressive of the three, but they're
Yeah,
kind of seem to be hoping to be like almost like slightly boringly consistent, if that's not too harsh. Like they kind of like feel like they want to go under the radar a little bit, which feels very
Leeds.
un-Leeds.
Yeah. No, I think this is probably a good point to talk about Leeds because I'll be honest, I haven't seen that much of Leeds because I think each game that we've had, apart from the first one, it's either been not much to talk about or it's been a battering like the Arsenal one. So they're the ones where I'm not sure at the moment. I'm not sure how I feel about them. They're the ones out of the three promoted. Maybe from a lazy standpoint, I'm thinking they're the ones I probably worry for the most because I've not seen enough from them. But I guess it's because, like you say, it's all going under the radar a bit. It's usually Leeds is on fire. This is happening. Like it's all good for Leeds. It's all bad for Leeds. I don't know. I need to see a lot more of them to know how I feel at the moment. But if you're a Leeds fan, maybe write in or give us a note of how you're feeling for the season at the moment because I'd like to get a better idea of it all. If I'm being honest, from the outside looking in.
Yeah, I mean they almost got a draw out of this at a tough Craven Cottage. Like would have been a good point like away from home for Leeds, but unfortunately crazy own goal settled this game, and
That would have
yeah,
been a good.
probably a goal that it didn't deserve.
It would have been a good point. I'm just worried that win at Ellen Road over Everton kind of masks everything. It is. It's a very bland start, isn't it? It's a 1-0 to Everton. Get rid of the Arsenal game because that doesn't matter. 0-0 with Newcastle and then a 1-0 loss at Fulham. It's just a very bland start to the season. So yeah, I think you're spot
Yeah, I
on.
mean you probably would have been taking 4 points out of those
Yeah.
three games. Like it's probably fine. And as I said, that's probably why we're feeling a little bit like meh, a little bit like, oh, they're just going under the radar. That's probably the best, like probably a very good tactic to do so. Like just sort of be quietly consistent, like pick up your points here and there, sort of thing. Like we'll see. It's still very early in the season. They've had a few new signings. Longstaff was all right in this game. I thought like he had a really good chance. Would have been another one to the Thunder Bastard collection for the weekend. But yeah, not too much else to say on Leeds right now. I'm not down on them too much, but I think want to see a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is, there's not really. Usually, even at the beginning of the season, there's a lot of teams shitting the bed in a certain way. But there aren't really that many shitting the bed this season, so maybe we should move on to a team that is shitting the bed. And we'll come over to
smooth with your transitions now, aren't you?
I've been working on that all week, but all weekend. Cool. So go on then. I'll give you the floor to rant about your time at the London Stadium. West Ham 0, Spurs 3.
Well, at least it wasn't Mohamed Kudus who scored. That's all I can.
How long was he getting booed? Because you could hear it like fucking relentlessly when I was watching it at the pub.
Yeah, some of it was aggressive. Like there was one geezer next to me using some very harsh language. Thankfully, nothing racist, so it was like, all right. But yeah, no, I mean, Kudus was getting a lot of stick, rightfully so. Don't go to Tottenham. Like it's just not what you do as a West Ham player. But anyway. Enough about Kudus. This was just a 20-minute collapse.
You're over it, mate. I'm not going to lie. Like, is he still playing on your mind at all?
Oh no, I honestly forgot about it until the match happened, and then I was like, oh yeah, we've got that to deal with today. Really hope he doesn't score, and he didn't. But unfortunately, 3 other Tottenham players did, and there's just like I don't know, like quite a big feeling of despondency around West Ham at the moment. Like there's obviously the stadium's shit, like it's a athletic stadium, we don't own it either, so we don't have that as an asset. Like the owners, for all of the money that they've spent, and to be fair, they've spent a lot of money on transfers and stuff, but none of them have worked, and they just aren't done with any sort of like guidance. Like we have spent so much money and not recouped like nearly half of it from transfer sales, and it's just like that just goes to show that you've got no identity as a club, like in how you want to run things. You change things from manager to manager, thinking that that's going to change everything. And then like you bring in a technical director, you get rid of them, go back to your sort of agents wheeling and dealing, and it's just like at the moment, yes, the football isn't good. Like any good feeling we had from the Forest smash and grab win is just completely gone again, because in this one, like played all right in the first half, like threatened a little bit, and then collapsed at the first 20 minutes after half time. And what the glaring thing is, we just can't defend corners. Like we've conceded 6 times from corners so far this season, which is 3 times more than the second team, which is Leeds on that list.
Can we just touch on like the VAR one? I texted you whilst you were there, whilst I was in the pub. I was like, got away with that. That's a fucking goal all day long. But the Sarr one is unforgivable. Just geezer stood at the back post by himself, like hands on hips. Just like, oh, the ball's coming. I'm going to put this in the back of the net. Boom, goal. Okay, sorry, we had some technical difficulties there with my Wi-Fi not wanting to play the ball. But yeah, Tom, you were saying about Thomas Frank's coaching staff basically deciding to target corners the whole game.
Yeah, Thomas Frank, Palhinha came out after the game and said that Thomas Frank and the coaching staff said this is where we're going to win the game on set pieces, and it's just like we just left. We were leaving players unmarked completely. We were putting small players like Kyle Walker-Peters up against Christian Romero. It just like, and then Potter has the audacity after the game to say we defended corners well, and it's like, well, that's because they had about 15 of them. Yeah, some of them we are going to defend fine, but everyone in the stadium felt agony when the ref gave another corner, because it was just like what's going to happen at this one? Hermanson's not going to come out and collect it because he's 5 foot tall.
Don't worry, the defenders, back, mate. It's going to be fine.
Mate, at this point, put him in, like, at least give us an adult in the room.
Fuck you know. How did you feel about the red card?
It's a red card. Like, I don't think you can have any complaints about this one. I don't think there's any intent from Souček, but you know, he does it like his studs are up and connects with the player. Like, I think it's just a clear red card.
Did you see we'll come on to it later in the Liverpool-Burnley game, but did you see the challenge in that one as well from, I can't pronounce the geezer's name.
Ugochukwu.
Yeah, Ugochukwu. I don't think I did too bad there. But yeah, do you see the challenge from him on McAllister? I thought that was much worse than Souček's one, if I'm being honest. No? Because Souček is like up, it's really high, but it just grazes like the shin pad, whereas the Ugochukwu one gets like all ankle, like crunch.
There's a lot more force in that one than Souček's, but I mean, we'll get onto that one later because I was surprised that wasn't maybe a straight red given you know the opposition and everything, like. But yeah, I wasn't surprised seeing that this one was a red for Souček either. And you know, like, that happens. Other teams will like defend better. They'll sort of try and
they'll get kicked up the arse. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. They'll rally, but Potter's West Ham just don't have that mentality. Like, they will, like, they crumble enough after conceding, let alone going down to 10 men.
It's not great, is it, mate? 11 goals in 4 games at home. Like, is that just in general? That's just in general, isn't it? Fucking, it's not good. Like, if you're paying your season ticket at the moment, and we know that West Ham fans aren't going to be quiet about it either, with fucking shit that happens, where do you even go? Like, who is there out there? Sam Allardyce or Roy Hodgson? Like,
Jose, bring me Jose.
Bring Joe, you fucking wish me.
I did reach that point this weekend where I searched who are the out of contract managers available, like the available managers, and yeah, if you're not going to go exciting for someone like Marco Rose or Edin Terzic, like, get someone who's had some success like in the Bundesliga or something, then give me Jose Mourinho and just turn this into a full-on circus. Like, at least he'll come in and tell David Sullivan what a prick he is. Like, he'll do things his way.
You know what's about to happen? You're going to pay fucking Nuno and all his back staff outrageous amounts of money to come in, keep you up, have a good season, then probably sack him again. Like,
well, at this point, you know, we'd play some terrible football under Nuno, but we might actually have an adult in the room, and we might actually just sort of like start to, you know, defend, which we've just given up with.
Yeah, 100%. Anything else you want to touch on in that game? I mean, I do want to talk about your next game. Obviously, us at London Stadium. I am absolutely devastated that I'm at wedding all of that weekend. Otherwise, we may be giving you guys some live fucking pod content from the match itself, with Tom hopefully crying and me trying to get down to kick the corner flag like Mateta did last year. So,
but yeah, one, I'm glad you're not there, and two, I am I'm nervous that we're going up against 10-game unbeaten Palace, is it, or 9? Like
10 in the Premier League, 15 in all competitions. Just want to put that out there. Didn't have that on the top of my head or anything.
You know we're going to beat you now. You've said that.
I know. I almost guarantee you're going to beat us, and it'll be the turning point of your season. And yeah, Potter would love that no more. Obviously, with the Brighton connection, he never could beat us there. So yeah, that would be. Yeah, I'll probably be eating my words. But if you do win, I just won't watch the game because I'll be at a wedding. So, and I won't talk. I'll refuse to talk about it. How about that?
Well, we've got a podcast to talk about it now.
I'll fucking make random noises instead. Yeah, cool. Okay, what game do you want to move on to next? Is it the Forest Arsenal game?
Yeah, the other one I was at on Saturday watching Ange's Forest not turn up.
Yeah, is there much to talk about really? There's another thunder cunt of a goal. I think once that goes in, I even said it in the pub, I was like, well, I think that's fucking it for Forest today. Like, pack up shop, which it kind of wasn't, in all honesty, I guess. They did have a bit, but yeah.
This one was one-way traffic. Like, like, yeah, Forest didn't really show many signs of life. Like, I actually think like maybe Sells should do better from the first one. Like,
I
it
think
is a
you
good
kind
goal
of
and it's
see it.
deflected, but
I think
like,
you see it
it's
late
still
and it's
quite
like quick.
central. Like,
Yeah,
would have been hoping that he could have got a hand, like a stronger hand to it. But yeah, I mean, we don't have to spend too much time on this. Ange said himself that we should judge him from Wednesday onwards. Like, he only had like 2 or 3 training sessions before this. They've
yeah.
got they've got an EFL Cup game against Swansea on Wednesday, so he said he'll be able to put his tactics and how we want his imprint on the team from then. Because this was a Nuno first 11, like Chris Wood up top, like it was exactly sort of the team that had left beforehand, except they had some defensive changes, and that was only made worse midway through the first half, where Murillo
Yeah,
went off injured, and they had to bring on this young right. Well, he ended up playing right back. I think he's a centre back, but this young Italian guy Savona, and they had Morato, and they were just moving them all around. Like, Morato started the game at left back, ended up at centre back. Nico Williams started the game at right back, went to left back. Savona came on at right back, and it was just like
they
that
were.
was always just going to be a nightmare to try and like stop this Arsenal team when you had to make that many changes, especially mid game.
I think that is
So
like the worst scenario for the well for for Arsenal's front three in that game. Not good times for Forest at all.
yeah, yeah.
Did you see the? Well, obviously you did, but the Chris Wood goal with his chest. Well, nearly a goal with the chest lob.
Yeah, but that was the like the one bright spark for Forest.
I think if that
But
goes in, that's my goal of the season. It's like they're like he definitely meant to do it. I was like, maybe he meant to do it. Maybe you just throw your body at it, but there's no way he meant to like nearly lob the keeper with it. I'm sorry, he just tried to put it towards the goal.
yeah, just trying to get it towards goal. I actually think they showed a little more signs of life when Calimundo came on. So, like as I said when we were sort of talking about Ange coming in, wouldn't surprise me if Calimundo starts to get more game time over Chris Wood. Like, just as I say, it feels more like an Ange player than Chris Wood does.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, should we move on to another defeat for another other 14 team, Liverpool, Burnley? I think a very, very cruel defeat for Burnley. I watched all of this game, and yeah, I think Burnley did something that we talked about in the preview podcasts about what other teams that had come up weren't doing. They just realised, fuck it, we're going to have to hold back in this game, defend like motherfuckers, and hopefully get a goal on the break. And I mean, there wasn't much chance for them on the break in the game. I think there was a lot of them just hold the fort. But to do so well for the whole game and then get undone by the handball at the end, I don't think there's any. Do you have any complaints with the handball?
No, no. I mean, with the rule as it is now, his arms like far enough away from his body. He's far enough away from the ball when it was hit that it's just one of those, like, with how the handball is now, that they're going to be given, and especially against a top six opposition, like, you're not going to get the luck of the draw. So yeah, again, as you said, a gutting sort of way to lose this game so late in the day, where I think they've reduced Liverpool to low quality chances as well. Like, they were just sort of pinging long shots. Really, they weren't like peppering like the goal. Like, it wasn't. Dubravka didn't have to make a ton of like hard saves. Like, he made a couple of good saves, like as you'd expect, and he was on form.
Like, yeah, there's nothing crazy where you're like, oh fuck yeah, Liverpool should have scored there. It was one-way traffic, but it wasn't like any good chance. It's not like the Newcastle game where both sides were having chances that actually could have gone in. It was like, this is just fucking a bit drossy. And yeah, Liverpool, I don't want to say they got favoured by the ref in it. Like, there's little bits of bias there, I guess, but there was nothing I took away where I was like, they've been completely screwed. It was just...
No, well, I mean, we'd have to talk about the Ugochukwu red card a little bit more, like, because I do think the first could have been a red with how the follow through. Like, I think we've
100%.
seen them given
Yeah.
before, so again, another referee with this opposition, they would have given that as a red card.
That's what I mean. That's why I can't really say there's anything you can blame the ref for too much. I know the Burnley fans got against the ref in the stadium, but that
Well,
one
to
was...
be fair, I actually don't feel like the second yellow is really a yellow. Like, the ball is gone.
Yeah, but you can't be
The defender
doing it.
has the ball. and Wirtz just kind of falls over the defence.
If that happened against me, I'd be wanting him gone like 100%. Do you know what I mean?
But I think like he's only been given a yellow because he's already on one, and because the ref has probably thought, oh, maybe he should have gone earlier.
I think also the first one's probably more of an orange card than it is a yellow card. Like if he's been probably given a firstly the ref's probably heard like that was fucking a bit nasty. Like watch out. He's probably given him a talking to, and then he's seen the first opportunity to be like, yeah, you're gone, mate. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, he's gone to the ground and tripped the player up as the ball went away. So, you know, I mean, it's not like the most egregious thing I've seen, but it's just one of those that I don't necessarily feel like it's actually a yellow, and maybe the circumstance played into it. But
I think you're probably right there. Don't have this much else to talk on really with that one. Just feel sorry for Burnley fans more than anything.
I mean, it would have been a bonus really for Burnley. Like they played a pragmatic, sort of more defensive setup than they have done in previous games, trying to just sort of sneak a draw really. But you know, not one that Burnley fans would have been banking on. So yeah, we can move on from there. Let's go to sad 0-0's corner, my quick fire round, where Alex won't let me talk about them. So my takeaways from Crystal Palace Sunderland, even though you were the one that was there. Pino looks a real threat. He probably could have had a hat-trick if he was maybe a little bit more settled in.
I can't believe he didn't dink the chance he had where he put it past the post. Like I was like, he is clearly going to like the way he plays and like very technical with it, and just like I feel like Spanish people were very good at chipping. It just like fucking ran through, and then I was like, oh, he's going to dink it over. It's going to be 1-0, and he put it aside. I was like, But I knew what this game was going to be. Any Palace fan going to this game should have known what it was going to be. It was going to be a boring dross 0-0, but to be fair to Sunderland, they are fucking very good. They didn't play the dross. I thought it'd be a 0-0 because they'd just sit back and try and get us on the break. They look like a fucking non-newly promoted side. They look like a very like established Premier League side against us. They were fantastic. I'll give them that. Like we probably should have maybe got a go. Well, no, we had enough chances to get a goal, but keeper was on fire for them, and they were very well set out, and they had some very good players. So I am scared.
Alex does want to talk about 0-0s really.
I don't.
But yeah, my note for Sunderland. No. Hey, it's 0-0 corner. My note for Sunderland was big saves from Roofs. He's going to be massive if Sunderland are going to stay up this season. He's obviously not the biggest name in the squad, but you know he showed up big in this one. And then over to Everton v Aston Villa, something I didn't think we were expecting to be a 0-0, but you know Everton were all over them, but for Aston Villa, Martinez is back and showed his absolute quality. And yeah, I was a bit surprised that one ended 0-0 because another day Everton probably got 5 or 6 out of that game.
Yeah, 100%. And only if Martinez could score a goal for Villa, they might be in a better patch.
Yeah, it's looking tough up top.
It really is. Cool. Okay, let's take a break and get into Peak Barclays then.
Let's do it.
Okay, and we're back. So, Tom, who do you have for us for Peak Barclays this week?
We've got an iconic figure that graced the game. So, in tribute to Suicide Prevention Month, we're going to remember Gary Speed, absolute legend of the game, but also just a well-loved man off the pitch. Like the stories that you read of him, just like he touched a lot of people's lives. Like I think he is a man that, regardless of what he did on the pitch, which was outstanding, he's held in very high esteem from everyone in football and in his personal life as well. But yeah, Gary Speed.
100% got to agree with you on that. Like every podcast you listen to with like ex-players or anyone that spent any time with him, it's always nothing but high praise for him as a person, like a leader in the dressing room and just someone that anyone could go to, really. So that's what makes, obviously, his passing that bit sadder for everyone involved. Yeah.
So, like, as a true Premier League icon, he made 535 appearances, scored 81 goals, 43 assists, totaling 16 seasons, and actually just had 1 red card. And
that's crazy.
In that time,
just one.
So
I would
crazy.
There'd be more in there for sure.
Like he put a tackle in as well.
He was just fucking tenacious, wasn't it? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, he would get about and put a tackle in. Like, he wasn't afraid to get in there. And yeah, he played for Leeds, Everton, Newcastle, and Bolton. So touched a lot of our the managers that we'd be talking about, your Sam Allardyces and such. But yeah, no, I mean, in his early days, he was more of like an attacking sort of played on the left sometimes. Midfielder, arrived late into the box loads, scored loads of really nice goals. Scored more goals than I was actually expecting, but I suppose when you play so many games and in that sort of role, you're bound to do so.
It's a good goal assist ratio though, isn't it? Like
It is.
for every 2 goals, 1 assist. That's fucking crazy. And even for his position and like getting on like later in the seasons for all those appearances, it's a brilliant tally for a midfielder, I'd say, all round.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, later in his career, he sort of played more of like a box-to-box, dominate in the middle. That's probably a bit more what I remember him as in his sort of like Newcastle Bolton days.
I think yeah, for us it's Newcastle Bolton mainly, isn't it? Just because of our age. Like I just think of him mainly as Bolton with their classic Bolton kits.
Yeah, and it felt like a proper captain as well, like one of those sort of us growing up were like, wow, yeah, that is the like typified captain, and he looked after himself as well. Like obviously you don't play 16 seasons playing into your 40s in the Premier League and the Championship without doing so. Like he was one of sort of like the early players to like embrace sports science, do sort of yoga and like really care about like nutrition and stuff, and that's something that sort of transcended into his managerial career as well. As like obviously wasn't sort of a long time, but he really impacted Wales. He had them up to 45th in the world from like 116th in the space of a couple of months. Like
he really started like that thing that snowballed into Wales eventually getting to what was it, the semis of Euro.
Yeah, 100%. Like
20,
Euro 2016.
16, yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, he's really set them on that trend upwards for Chris Coleman to come in and really pick up what was left over. And yeah, you know what he means to Wales. My partner's family has a house in Holyhead, and there's even like a massive mural of him in the middle of the city next to Gareth Bale. So you kind of know who are two of the biggest like figureheads for Welsh football altogether.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he turned around, like, woke up a sleeping dragon in Wales and had them, like, playing really nice football, getting results and stuff. And it took Chris Coleman a little while to sort of become his own man in that role because of how, like, big the shoes were to fill for Gary Speed. And then Coleman eventually got, like, made it his own. He obviously made some changes and then really sort of continued on the work that Gary Speed had done with Wales, and as you say, get into that Euro 2016 semi-final. And then obviously like Gary Speed's passing is just sort of was absolutely tragic. I remember the feeling of it more than I remember actually sort of exactly where I was. Just remember the feeling of hearing that news. And there was a game between Swansea and Aston Villa supposed to be played. The players found out like half an hour before the game. Like Shay Given was just in tears. Like there were players like Ashley Williams, James Collins, Neil Taylor, who had all were Wales internationals at the time, who were just in a state of sort of shock. And there was no surprise that game ended 0-0, and it was just sort of like goes to the annals of history, and because of how emotional the players were and that, and yeah, just sort of
100%. I think for myself, I was too young at the time to really understand the gravity of it all. But I know you want to talk about like basically people that can be affected by it and how it even can affect you at certain points.
Yeah, I mean, as someone myself who suffers with anxiety and depression and has had suicidal thoughts at times, like has always hit very close to home. And yeah, I just want to urge anyone suffering to reach out to friends, family, doctors. If you're in the UK, you can call Samaritans for free, day or night, on 116 123. Like, please do reach out if you're struggling with your mental health or anything. Like, suicide is a very, very like tough thing to process for people going through it and sort of struggles with your mental health. There are resources there, and please do get in contact.
Yeah, I couldn't second that more for everyone involved. So yeah, cool. I think that's everything you want to touch on Gary Speed, RIP.
Yeah, rest in peace, Gary.
Okay, let's move into our predictions then for the weekend. So I can see we're starting with the Merseyside derby. How do you see that one going?
I mean, the way Everton were creating chances, I think Liverpool were susceptible defensively. I'm going to go Everton 2-2.
Do you know what? If this was at the Hill Dickinson, I know I'm making a big deal of it. I've literally just bought my tickets for the away game now as well because like I'm expecting it to be a big deal. I think if this was at Everton, I wouldn't be surprised if they could fucking get a win from it. But it's early kickoff. It's Merseyside derby. Sorry Everton fans, just has like a 2-0 Liverpool written all over it for me. I think Liverpool are going to be riding that just winning games for a very long period again this season.
Yeah, but I think they can be got at defensively.
Yeah. Oh no, I definitely think they can, but I just don't see it happening at Anfield for anyone else. But cool. Then Brighton, Spurs, the first 3 o'clock of the weekend. First 3 o'clock, all at the same fucking time. Yeah. Brighton, Spurs, how you feeling?
I don't think Tottenham are all that. I think Brighton are more positioned to get a result against them than we are, but yeah, so I'm going to go Brighton 2-1.
Yeah, as much as I don't want Brighton to win, I can see this being one of the games that they win. Like,
you can't say it every week, Alex.
Oh, I can. Like, fucking Brighton fans will say the same to me. Like, it's all banter. Let's fucking have it. Like, but yeah, I still think it's going to be probably a 3-1 Brighton. I'm not going to lie. I see Spurs falling apart a bit. I think they don't really have the consistency yet under Thomas Frank. So yeah. Cool. Burnley Forest. This is a very interesting game at Turf Moor for me. I think it's a bit of maybe one of the standouts for me. Like,
it's a tough one to call.
Huh? Who are you going for?
It's a tough one to call, I think, because we don't really know what Forest are going to look like under Ange. Like, Saturday was a write-off. Burnley at home, these are the games they're going to be targeting to get points out of. I think Burnley can grind out a win against a Forest team still finding their feet. I think I'm going to go 1-0 Burnley.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go 2-0 Burnley. Like, I would never be saying that if Nuno was still in charge of Forest. Like, if I was saying that, I'd be like, yeah, they're going to go up there, put in a casual performance and probably come away with, like, a 2-0 win. But I just think Forest have put themselves in such a position where it could go fucking really bad really quick. And I don't know why I'm pushing more towards really bad. It may be because I sound like a bitter Palace fan about Europa League stuff, but it generally isn't that. Like, I don't know why they put themselves in that position. But yeah, cool. Next one, West Ham Palace. I'm going to go 2-2. I don't think we're going to win. I don't know why, but I never feel good going to the London Stadium, even though we've had good results there.
You always win.
No, what's it been, past 3 years we won there? It's past 2, isn't it? Or was it 3? I can't remember, but yeah, it has been good times there, but you have to remember, like, before I met you, I went there many a time and watched us lose every single fucking time to...
Can we go back to those days before I met you?
No. the simpler times.
Yeah, West Ham Palace, this has got 3-1 Palace written all over it and more misery for me.
I will fucking take it. Cool. Then Wolves versus Leeds.
This is an interesting one as well. Two teams wanting a result. I'm going to back Wolves at home in this one. Like, as we've been saying, like, they've not been out of matches. I think they're going to get a result at home here. I think it'll be a 2-1 win for Wolves.
I think it's going to be a bit of me thinks like it might be a 3-1 win where like it's really tight 1-1, then they get one goal and then Leeds go all out to like get the equaliser. And yeah, I'm going to go 3-1. Fuck it, I've talked myself into it. There we go. Then we have the second West London derby in the bounce, Fulham Brentford to Craven Cottage. Another West London derby at 8 o'clock on a Saturday. Like, if you're going to put games at 8 o'clock on a Saturday, London,
they should be very close. Yeah. Have to be London games. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I don't know how much there is to split these two teams right now.
I don't either. I was swaying maybe a bit towards Brentford, but then a Craven Cottage, Big Kev. No, I'm going to give it. I reckon Kev's going to break the deadlock in the game, and it's going to be a 1-0 win Fulham. That's what I think.
Nice.
Cool. Then we have Bournemouth, Newcastle United. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's an exciting matchup. I think I'm going to go with a 3-3 draw.
Fuck, that's big. I'm going to go for it's got to be a draw, hasn't it? I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I was swaying towards Bournemouth, it just feels like a draw, doesn't it? Then Sunderland Villa, another interest. These are all interesting games. Like Villa, worst time for them probably to be going to Stadium of Light. From what I saw from Sunderland, I can only see Sunderland winning this, and I can see them winning it well. I can see them winning it like 2-0.
Yeah, this feels a lot like West Ham going to Sunderland for Villa, who are obviously a better team but not in a good place right now, and the stadium will be well up for it. I'm going to agree 2-0 Sunderland.
Yeah, I cannot actually recall more about how good Sunderland were at the weekend. I feel bad that we weren't given like a whole period to talk about that because they were a solid side. But cool. Anyway, that's us done for the week. Feel free to rate and review the pod and tell your friends. And then also follow us on socials and Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Reddit at Other14FC Podcast. And email in if you agree or don't agree with anything, or if you just want to give your feedback for the week, please feel free, because we'd love to hear it at other14fcpod@gmail.com. But otherwise, Tom, I'll see you next week after we've battered you, hopefully.
See you next week, mate.
Bye.